So I remember at the height of my addiction, I was like the praise and worship leader at First Baptist Church in Wilmington. And this church had like a lot of money. So there was always like fancy shit laying around. And I remember they were building like a $4 million place for kids to play PlayStation. And this is before, this is like during the MySpace days, but I took like 5 DVD players in the box and took them to the pawn shop so I could have some money to buy dope with. And I didn't even feel bad about it, you know. I was telling somebody today, when I used to see somebody with a cast or a wheelchair ramp, I used to think, yeah, they've probably got pain pills in their house, like when I had to go to their house and do work or something, you know. And it's just you know, I wasn't raised in that kind of fucking environment, you know, to turn into such a scumbag. And you know, I remember taking money from some goofball I knew. His daughter, she was like 14, and I remember taking like $10 out of her piggy bank. She had 30, but I took 10, meaning to go pay it. Don't get me wrong, unequivocally, just a fucking scumbag piece of shit thing to do. Taking her money and then taking like 3 of her Ritalin to snort later on out of her script, you know, just not thinking like, you know, this person's gonna need them because they're nuts without them, or, you know, I'm not really nuts, but, you know, I don't know, you just kind of think back to the shit that you used to do, like, and you just go, God, you know, that's why I'm so, I might seem somewhat lackadaisical on some of my recovery, but most of it, you know, I just try to avoid that shit. Like my neighbor wanted me to bring him to the, you know, the drugstore, you know, and it's just like, you know, when you come to that point in addiction where you realize I could have a grocery store filled with pills from top to bottom, like you would have to like wade through them like snow in order to last me. That's how high you need to stay. That it's just like, you just realize, like even now I got my TENS unit on right here, and I'm starting to have some neck problems. I can tell, like I need to have my neck looked at. I'm trying to let this shit go the natural route. I finally found my TENS unit. I got so much icy hot on right now, it's burning the fuck out of me. But it's like, I'm not thinking, man, I need to get some fucking Percocets, because what's going to happen is I'm going to feel great for about an hour, 2 hours, and then I'm going to go, man, I spent how much money? So, you know, you just kind of grow into your things, and, you know, you have to learn to forgive yourself, you know. It's shit that I'm just not proud of, but I have to take full responsibility and accountability and ownership of, you know, shit like that's just so fucking embarrassing. But it happened, and that's part of my story, unfortunately. But, you know, no animals or children were harmed. They were just stolen from.